bringing you the latest news from Coronado Athletics. This is the Mustang Fan Zone podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Good Monday afternoon, evening, whatever it is. I'm glad to be back on a Monday night. I've been gone for a couple of Mondays with high school basketball playoffs going on, but I am back. The playoffs are still going strong. We're going to talk a little bit about that. We're going to jump into the high school fan zone on 100.7 The Score right away. We're going to get into the Mustang fan zone. We've got a couple of Mustangs waiting at the door. Got to get a chair for one of them to sit down. I am Randy Rosetta. As I mentioned, this is 100.7 The Score. It's the high school fan zone every Monday night until the end of the school year. We will be here on Mondays with the 4 LISD schools, starting with Coronado as a couple of Mustangs slide into view here. It always go on Monday nights. We'll go Coronado, Estacado, Lubbock High, and then Monterey, 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. And we will on Wednesday nights we switch over to Friendship, Lubbock, Cooper, and Liberty. That's from 6 to 7 p.m. I'm going to get one of my guests here set up with his microphone real quick. There you go. Magic of live TV, live radio here. I am joined by Coronado football coach and athletic coordinators. Campus coordinator, is that the official way to put that?
Yes, sir.
I know you guys wear a lot of hats, do a lot of work after football season's over.
Yes, sir, we do.
Andrew, Roy, who do we have with us here?
This is J.J. Villalobos.
Okay.
He's fighting for our starting quarterback job right now. He's been leading our offseason pretty dang well, man. I'm just proud of everything that he's been doing.
Well, you mentioned the stuff on the field. I want to talk to this young man about what he does off the field.
Oh, man, you're going to be here for a while. I don't know if you have time.
He's a pretty famous Lubbock High School person, let alone athlete. How are you doing, Andrew? I haven't sat down and talked to you. I've seen you from across. You had to I mentioned those hats you had to wear. You had to kind of be an enforcer at the last time I saw you, the Coronado
basketball game. Oh, man.
Boys, you know what? I told somebody, I said, there was a lot of students that it was kind of raucous and they wouldn't move right away. And then Andrew Roy walked over and all those kids looked up and, boy, they started moving pretty quick. Well,
we want to get that kind of student body in that environment.
Absolutely.
And they were rocking and rolling, man. And then I don't know if one person says something wrong, and officials can be officials nowadays.
I understand. And what's the thing the UIL came up with in the offseason?
Yeah, the Texas way. And
Texas
so we're
way.
trying to follow that.
Which I think is a great thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just kids getting after it, man, and trying to beat their rival. It was a big game, and I thought it was awesome.
Well, you and I are a little bit older than the students now, obviously.
Yeah.
In our day, that kind of stuff probably a little bit more vicious.
Yeah, it was definitely back in the day, man.
There were some things I can't say exactly what was said at some of my high school games because of the mascots and the school names in my hometown. I'll tell you guys off the air. It was kind of, I'm not going to mention it here because hopefully this is a family radio show. So, JJ, it's good to meet you in person.
Nice to meet you.
I'm trying to think if I saw you. I saw a couple of your games where I think you started one last year.
Yes, sir.
When Isaiah was banged up. And I remember whoever I was sitting next to in the press box, I said, this kid's going to be okay when he gets out there and gets a chance. Kind of talk about what the offseason's been like for you, because Isaiah is moving on. He's graduated, or he's not graduated yet, but he's used up his eligibility. What's it been like to start to adjust in Coach's second year? Hold that up close. Make sure.
It's not. I'm sorry.
There you go.
It's been good. It's a big step that I got to take as a leader, off and on the field, leading my team in the right direction. So we've been getting to it, trying to figure out things and hope things run smooth.
Because you didn't make the playoffs. Coach knows I'll rip that bandage off and get it over with. But you guys, it's not because you guys didn't have good leadership. You had a group of guys who had been around for a while that I know Coach got close to. We'll start with them, Andrew. What are those guys doing? I watched Dom and Abe in basketball quite a bit.
Yeah.
Isaiah's a baseball guy. What are those three guys doing now as we get to spring?
Those guys are still being those guys. They're still doing what they're doing. Of course, Dom just finished with basketball, and he's coming to track, and he's going to throw for us. He's going to go to college to play football. Isaiah's going to baseball. He's going to be one of their best pitchers and leading them to a playoff berth, hopefully. And Coach Coach I say Coach Ragland because he's like a coach on the field. Abe Ragland, man, he's just getting ready for college football, and those guys are just doing what they're doing. But we got guys like JJ that are kind of they're leading in a different way, and it's fun to watch, and I can't help but just love to watch what he's been doing off the field.
You mentioned Abe being a coach. First of all, that young man's body is probably just ready for a break.
Yeah,
just
his mind is not though. He's like, Coach, I got to get in the ASCO All-Star game. I got to play. I'm like, well, we'll see what we can do. He's already ready. Once basketball is over, he's ready for the next thing. And
I think you know a guy that is going to be coaching the team. So
yeah. So
Judd Thrash, congratulations to Judd Thrash, Monterey coach, was named one of the coaches. Who was the other coach? Did you happen to see?
I didn't see.
And I don't know how they separate that or how they decide that, but it's a cool deal for Judd. Who,
absolutely.
Obviously, Monterey had a good run in the playoffs, and to me, that's when you guys are in a district like this, that's always something you can use with your guys is, hey, look, Monterey, a few years before that, didn't win a game, and then they got to the playoffs and went 3 rounds deep, so that's something that can motivate your guys.
Yeah, and it's not hard to do. We still think that we're better as a football team than they are.
There you go.
No matter what, we still feel like we outwork them every day. And our guys are coming to work in the mornings. They're coming to work during the period, and we get after it. Who's ever there is going to work, and that's all we're looking forward to.
JJ, is Coach a morning person?
He is. He's very, very loud in the morning.
That doesn't surprise me whatsoever.
Gets up there and yells and, gets us live.
He probably doesn't want to get out of line because Mrs. Roy will get him right back in line if he's not careful.
I told her about the other day when it was about 16 degrees outside, and I had my shirt off trying to motivate him. I was like, I can't do this anymore. I'm too old for that.
No, that cold weather won against me. I was ready for this. And I don't know if I'm ready for 80 degrees in late February either, but I'll take this over that anytime. We're coming up on a break here pretty quick on the Mustang Fan Zone. We're going to talk more Coronado football and kind of more about the offseason with Andrew Roy and J.J. Villalobos when we come back. I mentioned high school basketball season so hot and heavy. 3 teams left in the UIL playoffs from the Hub City. All play tomorrow night. Monterey girls are playing Frisco Memorial at 6:30 p.m. at Hardin Simmons. Estacado boys are playing Seminole in the 4A Division I regional semifinals right here in town at the Rip Griffin Center, 7 p.m. tomorrow. The Friendship boys are in the 6A Division II regional semifinals against Little Elm, 6 p.m. tomorrow at McMurray University. So there's a lot of basketball going on. A lot of good stuff going on in the spring sports have started to rev up as well. We'll be back to talk about that on the Mustang Fan Zone on 100.7 Score. I'm Randy Rosetta.
Diving headfirst into Coronado athletics. You're listening to the Mustang Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score and the 100.7 The Score mobile app.
Welcome back to the second segment of the Mustang Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score. I am Randy Rosetta. I'm with Coronado football coach and campus coordinator Andrew Roy and a young man who's in a quarterback battle to be the new Mustang quarterback because Isaiah Vasquez is moved over to the Diamond, J.J. Villalobos. J.J., you got to watch those guys the last several years. You started a game or two, and you got into games and kind of got a taste of varsity football. What do you want to get better at here in this offseason to get ready for next year when you step out there with the bright lights on you?
Really playing under the lights is something that I feel that I need to get better at, like understanding that I'm on that level and I got to lead the whole time and stay calm and just control my team so we can go out there and do the best we can.
You just mentioned that you're coming from Iron, so you've been around Isaiah, you've been around Jet Carroll. Those guys, what you just said, they all had to experience that. Jet maybe had the hardest time of all that because he's taken over for Sawyer Robertson.
And he knows Sawyer, too. Like, he's grown up watching all those guys.
So you got no pressure. Those shoes are big, but just step out there. Andrew, what does he bring to the table? If he winds up being your starting quarterback, what's he bring to the table? This
summer, Isaiah got hurt right before 7-on-7 state championship, and we're like, do we go? And I'm like, well, yeah, we go. We're gonna let JJ get some work. He may have to play during the season, and so JJ led his team in the 7-on-7, and we had the best 7-on-7 state tournament since I've been here. We won 2 or 3 games And it was a great time. We played against great competition, the Woodlands and teams like that. So just seeing what he could do in that aspect, just being thrown in there. He had always traveled with us and done stuff like that, but then him getting thrown into the mix at state 7-on-7, we were like, okay, now we have one. Then Isaiah goes down week 2 against Lubbock Cooper, and JJ comes in and throws a touchdown pass, and we're like, okay, we're going to be all right. He can play a little bit, and once we get him comfortable, he's going to be just fine. So I think that's all he's been doing since the season was over, eager to get back in there. And like last weekend he was at HSU at a camp and already working. So no doubt about how he's going to work and what he's going to do. It's just about him being confident and performing.
Well, JJ, I know you've got one security blanket coming back with you. Campbell Stanek. It was just a junior last year, and he showed that he could catch just about anything thrown anywhere in his zip code. How much do you guys have to kind of lean on that chemistry as quarterback receiver starting now? I know he's going to be busy during baseball because he's a pretty good baseball player. He's kind of comes by that naturally because of Dad. But how much do you guys have to make sure that chemistry is ready to go when you guys get to work in August? In July, if it's 7-on-7, so
it's gonna be good because we're best friends. So we've always thrown together and like leaned on each other to go put in work. So us and our chemistry is no doubt about how it's gonna be during the season and this coming 7-on-7 in the spring.
Who are some other dudes, Andrew, that maybe were off the radar we don't know about yet that you are eager to see get out there and show what they can do as varsity guys?
I guess we had last Monday off, and I'm out there snapping for him and Campbell. Hayden Harger pulls up. He's going to be a big target for us.
Tight end, correct.
Big senior tight end. Rebel Beckham's a younger tight end that's going to be on the field a lot. And then we have some other guys that Parker Bottoма. He's a big, tall, lanky receiver. Reminds me of a Stone out at
Leighton Stone.
Out at Friendship. Like he runs the 400 for the varsity track team. He's only a sophomore. And then we have a lot of skilled kids that are working their butts off to get in that starting rotation or even in the 1 and 2 rotation. So we're definitely going to have some weapons, and we're going to be probably a little bit deeper on that side of the ball than we have been.
Now, you're a former baseball guy, so you were okay with letting Coach Bibb have Campbell pretty much full-time.
So Campbell, I mean, he doesn't get him full-time. Campbell came out like Campbell wants to run track, and I told him tournament season be with baseball, but he's running track. He came to the track workout during the period today. And then left to go to baseball. But he's an all-around kid, athlete, and, I mean, he's going to do whatever it takes to help out his team.
Because he was a pretty key for
he's a good baseball player, man. I'm trying to hold the reins on him on track, but he wants to get out there and run some times and help his relay teams win.
It's hard to tell a kid no when he wants to help you as much as possible.
And then when you look at the possibilities with him running with Alan Gant and Zacavian Washington and some of those guys, like, we could be special, but there's a time and a place, and we're just being patient with them right now.
Alan Gant's a kid I should have mentioned when I threw out those other guys because he's been around for a while as well.
Yeah, and he's still been leading right now in track and helping these younger guys kind of show them how to work. He's been phenomenal, man.
So Coach said he was snapping. How was he as a snapper?
He was good. He was telling us the routes. I mean, just doing what a coach is supposed to.
Did you get him to put the helmet and shoulder pads on?
No, I didn't.
When's the last time you had helmet and shoulder pads on, Andrew?
Oh, it's been a while, man. I think I put a helmet. I got like 10 helmets at my house in my garage, different schools I've been at and who I played for and stuff like that. And I put them on every now and then just to mess with my wife. And what are you doing? Go put that up. But I'll run around and be good.
Let's be honest here. You can mess with your wife, but you've got teenage daughters too, and trust me, I know that's fun to do.
Yeah, I'm waiting for that guy to knock at the door so I can run him over.
There you go. We can share some secrets on that. We're coming up on the end of the Mustang Fan Zone. I want to thank Andrew and JJ for coming in. It's a beautiful, almost spring day. The weather's definitely spring. These guys, will you have spring football?
No, we're not going to do – well, I say that We talked about it, but I don't think so. We're going to get our 2 scrimmages in the fall.
There we go. They're going to stay busy on other sports fronts. We'll be back after the break with the Matador Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score. This is Randy Rosetta.